The Common Good Radio Show. The Common Good Radio Show. Brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Highlighting the good in the community. Hosted by Pastor John McClain, Tucson's favorite family show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Homeless Veteran Transition Program, Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McClain, the founder of that very Veteran Rescue Mission, and glad that you're here today. As usual, we have an amazing show for you, have some amazing guests that are the pillars in the community. I'm so blessed to highlight them and highlight all the other good that's happening in the community. But as you know, this would not be the Common Good Radio Show if I did not give grace to an amazing God that allows us to be here every day, allows you to have all the blessings in your life, all the goodness of your family, your friends, all the support systems you have around you. And I usually like to thank him with the Lord's Prayer that goes a little something like this. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. So that being said, we got a guy who has a name like my name. His name is John, and he is with Benjamin Franklin Plumbing. And we've had him on the show how long ago? Maybe a couple, 3 months ago? Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And it was fun. It was really fun having you on the show. You started off like at the beginning of the show a little nervous, but by the time we got to the end of it, I felt like you were about to take over my job. So I thank you once again for coming on then and for joining us once again, John.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So since I've last seen you, fill me in, because actually, if anything, this segment you might as well call it the day with a plumber, because every time I see like these massive pipes, or every time I see like this like on taking of construction at a house and I see this like open plumbing, I've been thinking about you, and it was like, man, what is John up to? Like, what type of stuff does this guy really do? And I have like a list of questions kind of in my mind that I've been preparing for you, but fill me in. What have you been up to since the last time I seen you?
Well, one of the fun ones was a septic system abandonment.
Okay.
Her leach field, it was just destroyed, installed a very long time ago. So we had to go out there, do all the permits, the whole shebang, inspections, but started by digging around the house, doing a whole new trench, make sure we had proper pitch. Thankfully, they had a HCS tie-in. It's the main tie-in where the house would connect. Every house has one. They had that installed in the early 80s. So she had one there, so that did make it more convenient for us. So we just had to locate it. That was a bit of an interesting event with the city telling us it was in different locations. Finally pulled records, were able to locate exactly where it was, utilizing the CCTV camera. At that point, dug it up, found it, got our whole new main line in, got everything tested, and she is happy. Got a whole new system going. The ground, I mean, depending on where you are in Tucson, and a lot of people here know, some areas you'll get lucky, you can dig a hole. Other areas it's just straight rock, and she happened to be one of the straight rock locations.
Man. So one of the questions, I mean, you brought up another question now before I ask kind of the question I've been stirring at every time I walk by a big pipe. So when you're dealing with that, you're kind of trying to get through to that caliche, kind of like dealing with somewhat of a sensitive material in the pipes that you're having to deal with, but you have to get to them. Like, what is that process like? And I'm guessing the level of stress is like through the roof.
Well, depending on the aspect of like what the piping are. I mean, for your sewer lines, we'll use PVC because it's tougher. You can go a long strip, and you don't have to worry about it bowing, doing anything weird. So when we do long runs, you do PVC. That and a lot of time with the jackhammer. I mean, we had heavy equipment out there, but even with the backhoe, it was just scratching. It was so hard. So we had to work layer by layer with a jackhammer, excavate it out, rinse and repeat. But gas lines, things along those. So you'll have, I mean, anyone, if you're going to be digging, quick call 811 and they come out and locate stuff for you. But that's what we do every time, just to be safe, because like you mentioned, there could be gas lines, electric, all kinds of stuff out there, and last thing we want to do is get hurt someone, mess up property, anything like that. But so that way we know where we're digging, we could avoid having to dig around gas or anything. If you know there's gas, then we'll come up with it in roughly 2 to 3 feet, and then you just dig it by hand until you have it exposed, and then utilize the spotter, and then at that point you can get back on the backhoe.
And it, kind of as you're mentioning that, I imagine it's like it's not every day that you guys are doing those specific type of jobs.
No.
so I'm guessing like probably every day, maybe something a little bit different. You can, almost expect, like, you don't know what you're going to get until you kind of get into it. Every day.
Yeah. One that I just finished, actually. So a lady, she was referred to us by one of her real estate agents that she reached out to, and he referred to us. She was told by 2 companies that she needed a repipe. They didn't evaluate the house, they didn't anything. They just walked in there and told her, we had everything's galvanized, you need a repipe. So she called me over, and at first, going off what she was telling me before I actually inspected the house, I was like, it is a possibility. I could understand why they're saying it, not the price they were giving her. But I was like, let me do a quick evaluation. Started inspecting the piping, and she actually had copper, and they'll come up to these brass dog ears, is the nickname for them. But it's a transition where they'll sweat, and then it goes to a threaded fitting, and then they had galvanized coming out for the angle stops. So with that said, evaluated all the piping that I could see, everything. It was actually in really, really good shape. So we saved her quite a bit of money by just going around, eliminating all the galvanized, or opening the wall, cutting out the sections if I couldn't break it free, and rebuilding it. But we completely eliminated that. Her main line was galvanized, so we redid that. She has amazing water pressure now. No more galvanized in that house.
Nice.
Nice.
Made life a lot easier for her. Yeah. And so speak to also the maintenance options that you guys provide, because I feel like I know a little bit about plumbing and what's available there, but I know every single time you come, you inform me a little bit more. So fill me in.
Something that we offer is one of our maintenance programs, but as well it also gets you a bit of a discount. So any work done up to a certain amount, you can get it discounted. As well, one of the good things is we'll call you, let you know within a roughly around a year mark, but we come out and we do a full home inspection. And a year goes by quick, and a lot of things can slip being unnoticed. So we check all the angle stops, we check everything, we do a water heater flush, if it has something to do with plumbing, we're inspecting it, seeing how it's going, letting you know if it's in great shape, or realistically how much time you have before you might want to think about replacing it. I believe, like I mentioned last time, 10 years unfortunately is a decent number for water heaters nowadays. Like when I first got into it, a lot of those things are older than I was. I don't know if it's planned obsolescence or what, but they just don't last like what they used to. But with that said, staying on top of water heater flushes, or your anno rods, which are a sacrificial item inside them, do help prolong the life of them, and you can get several more years out of them.
Interesting. Tell us, we got probably about a minute and a half before we jump out of here. Tell us a horror story that you've dealt with people not doing that annual maintenance check, or kind of like making sure everything's okay.
Well, one that definitely could have saved them. Actually, there was a couple. This gentleman about to sell his house. I don't know how the other plumber missed it, but they had a joke I like to make. The only good thing about our hard water is it clogs its own leaks sooner or later. And they as well had galvanized supplies coming out of their for their water heater, and they had intermediate leaks. That room was it dried, but at one point was saturated. There was mold in the walls. Everything was decayed, falling apart. And somehow they just kept overlooking it, and it would be a slow leak, go away, slow leak, and they just a room that they never opened. Another one as well, we went in there, and it had to have been months, but the boxes were saturated. There was black mold. It was like shag carpet growing up the walls. That one was pretty bad. They had to get a hazard team in there. I wouldn't go in there. It was really bad. It was one of the worst ones I've seen, and they said they haven't gotten in their garage in about 6 months.
That's crazy. So for people who want to utilize Benjamin Franklin Plumbing services, how can they do that?
Well, they could reach out to us either through our webpage. You can actually go through and schedule it that way. It's pretty convenient. Or you can give us a call at 520-485-2224, and we'll get it scheduled right away. We have someone answering the phone 24/7.
Awesome. Well, That's Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, the punctual plumbers. We didn't get to get into that part. Maybe next time. But
Yes, sir.
once again, John, you knocked it out of the park, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, that's John of Benjamin Franklin Plumbing. Definitely check them out. As always, also check out our sponsors. We want to thank them, Proper Villains, for Tucson, We Care Tucson, 100 plus guys who give, White Stallion Ranch, Tucson Tool Shop, Dontel Dust Landscaping, Ramirez Cleaning, Benjamin Franklin Plumbing, our favorite, Hope Dealers Global, Tucson Tamale Company, Herm's House, Mental Health Podcasts, Masterpiece Studios, and Pepink. We'll have all that and more after the break, but don't go anywhere unless you're going to tell your mom about the show, because this is an amazing show. She'll want to hear about it. Tell her there's like these really cool hosts and there's some great guests. They make really funny jokes. We laugh about it, but you just tell her whatever you want. But those are some suggestions. We'll be right back.
The Common Good Radio Show. The Common Good Radio Show. Brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. Highlighting the good in the community. Hosted by Pastor John McClain, Tucson's favorite family show.
Yes, indeed. We are back. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I am Pastor John McClain. And as I promised, we have another amazing guest for you on the show with us. Sadly he's not in studio. He usually would be. He usually has a big smile and either a new haircut or new facial hair for us all to comment about, but he's on the phone with us today. And but I think he's still going to bring the love and bring the action. How you doing, Billy?
I'm doing great. It's going to be awesome. I'm still here, ready to rock.
Oh yeah, always. We know you're a rock star, brother. So fill us in, since the last time I seen you, how things been going on at the Tucson Tool Shop.
Good. I have quite a few massive estates that I've acquired, and I also have some stuff left over that I picked up from you. So people need to come by and check all that good stuff that I got from you.
Yeah.
And the new estates.
That's cool. So tell us fill us in on that. I've always been like excited or interested in that process. Like whether it's someone calling you or kind of like just you figuring out, what is it like when you go to an estate and kind of check it out and survey it, and when you are doing that, is there particular tools that you're looking for?
Yeah, I always have things that are on my list that I always buy.
Mm-hmm.
But usually what happens is, unfortunately, somebody's loved one passes away, and they get with me to sell their tools, whether it be a truckload or a garage full or a whole workshop. They contact me, and I set up an appointment. I go out and look at things and do a little appraisal and make an offer. And if they accept, then I go and pick up everything that we agreed upon and bring it back and put it out for sale for everybody else to enjoy.
Yeah, so that's an interesting something. I know we at one time, Veteran Rescue Mission, we had a thrift store, and it was always an interesting place to be in one of the people that's part of the process when someone loses a family member. And I have to imagine for you, it has to be some level of rewarding to know that, when someone's lost a family member, you're able to be there in some capacity to help, get off people's hands what, they wouldn't know what to do with otherwise. Tell us about kind of like, maybe some of the stories or some of the experiences you've had around that with, people losing their family members, and then you being one of the first people in their lives that they're dealing with following that.
Fortunately, moving forward, but usually, they have some tools or, stuff that was their family members, and they don't know how to get rid of it. They don't want to just throw it away or anything like that, but or they don't want to deal with the people online or on the social medias or other websites and things, and so somebody usually tells them about us or they know about us, and so they call and and I make it happen for them. Right before I took over in September of 23, when I was still with Kent, it was still Kent's Tools. I met a beautiful couple whose one of their father had passed away, and there was quite a bit of stuff. There was a carport, a garage, 3 sheds, and like 2 rooms in the house. And they got with me, and I took a couple days to go through everything and price it accordingly, because I don't like to rush those things. I want to give people the most money I can give them. I'm going to do that. So I made a deal with them on that, and they were so happy that I was able to help and got it done and everything like that. And when I took over and became the owner, the very first day, at the end of the day, we had a little bit of a celebration, and they were there and showed up, and it was really awesome. Like, it's awesome to meet new people. I love doing that, and I love hanging out and chit chat and talking tools and stuff like that. And sadly, it's because of sad times, but I try to make it the best I can.
For sure, and you're definitely the guy to do it. I mean, you're one of the people in my life that cheers me up every time I see you. But as and speaking of talking tools, has there ever been a time, whether it's at your own shop through working when it was Kent's Tools or now Tucson Tool Shop, or going to an estate where you saw a tool that either really like shocked you or impressed you or really kind of took you back in comparison to what you've been working with in the past?
Yeah. I never know what I'm going to see when I go to somebody's place, or what will come in through the door that people are looking to get rid of. This last estate sale that I went to, I think it was 2 weekends ago, it was a massive, like, 3-car garage, and I saw a very old-fashioned, I don't know the right word to call it, but it was just massive and metal and heavy and just looked really cool, and it caught my attention, and I didn't know what it was, and I ended up buying out the whole estate. And I later did some research, because I always like to learn about things, and it was a manual, like, sausage press where it was all metal, and you put it in there, but you have a handle that you crank, and it squeezes down and makes sausages and things like that. And it's really cool to find old things that not a lot of people know about or know that still exist.
Another question that comes to mind, kind of in that same vein, is what's the biggest tool you guys sell? Like, I know you guys don't sell tractors and those type of things, but what are the bigger tools that you guys sell?
Usually the largest things that we have are like the radial arm saws or the table saws. But every once in a while we do get the larger drill presses that are like industrial. Across the street from the shop in the storage yard, there's a drill press that's like probably 12 feet tall and 6 feet wide and things like that. One of the easiest ways to find us when you're driving down Grant Road is we have a massive grinder. It's big and yellow. And I think the grinder wheels are about 14, 16 inches, and those sort of things, like the industrial things. Those are.
And we got probably about a minute till we jump out of here, and I have you give contact information. But what's something that you guys don't do, or you guys don't carry there at Tucson Tool Shop?
We don't do any hardware like nuts and bolts and screws and things like that, door handles. We don't do rentals or repairs. I can definitely get you with somebody to help you with that, but I'm not set up to do that right now.
Awesome. And then for people who want to stop by the place or they want to check you out, how can they do that?
We're at 133 East Grant Road. It's Grant, one block east of Stone on the north side of the road. The shop phone number is 520-624-8098. My personal cell phone number is 520-633-5599. You can also find us on eBay, TucsonToolShop.com, and yeah.
Awesome. Well, Billy Hill, my friend, thank you once again for doing an amazing job, brother.
Thank you very much for having me again. I look forward to seeing you in person next time.
Absolutely, brother. And everybody out there listening, I invite you to go to Tucson Tool Shop, formerly known as Kent Tools on Grand Oracle. For over 40 years has provided tools and supplies for Tucson and beyond. Tucson Tool Shop provides high-quality tools at a great price. Most USA made. Visit Tucson Tool Shop at 133 East Grant to access the tools you won't find anywhere else in Tucson. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. As I always tell you, you'll want to eat your vegetables, you want to wash behind your ears, call your mother at least once a week. That's just good etiquette. And if you see a good friend, tell them how much you love them. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission, and I'll see you next time.